Lebenskünstler, der Podcast, der dich unterstützt, dein ganzes Strahlen, dein ganzes Potenzial und die Erfüllung deiner Herzenswünsche zu leben. Mein Name ist Walter und ich habe heute einen Gast, und zwar einen guten alten Freund von mir, Amagi. Er kommt aus Kanada, er spricht kein Deutsch und daher ist das Interview, das wir heute führen, in Englisch. Und ja, wenn du kein Englisch kannst, tut es mir leid, wir versuchen zu übersetzen, wird es wahrscheinlich schwer, aber es bringt wirklich, ist ein ganz besonderer Mensch, Amagi, der ein ganz besonderes Leben führt. So we start in English, you didn't understand the word? Or a little bit,
es tut mir leid, ich kann nicht Deutsch verstehen und ich kann nicht sprechen, aber ich kann in Englisch sprechen. So yes, let's go ahead in English.
Okay, so you can speak a little German?
Yeah, just very little, but not enough to express myself clearly.
Okay, Amagi is a person whom I met on the Jakobsweg. And when I was on the Jakobsweg, on the St. James Way, I had a big crisis in my life and I was looking for something new. I didn't know where to go. I had a partnership breaking up, my marriage breaking up. I felt really that I could do nothing but walk. So I walked. And in the first night of these 800 kilometers I walked, I met Amagi. And I also met some other friends like Willie and Phoebe and a lot of friends. At the end, we still had this contact, still kept in contact, because what we call a real friendship is what you can find on the St. James Way, I think. And Amagi is living a different life, and that's why we want to inspire you with people who live different lives and who try to live a happy life and a successful, happy life. That's the podcast called. So nice that we meet here in Koh Samui. Yeah?
It is indeed a pleasure for me to be here with you in Thailand. And I have to admit that having walked the Camino, because basically we walked 800 kilometers meeting each other along the way several times. And there's some people that you meet along the way that you connect with, and you know that there's going to be a true friendship that will be lifelong lasting. And Walter is one of those individuals, because you are one heck of an individual, my friend.
So you're a Canadian, a French Canadian, who lives now you are retired. And tell us about your life. How do you live life? Why did you decide to live a different life?
Well, we have to understand that life is an experience. Life is a journey, basically. And we are all responsible to live that life the way we want to. Now, there's certain individuals that decide on their own how they want to live this journey. Because the journey is all about experiences, what you want to feel in life, what you want to gain from life, what you want to make sure that you accomplish, whatever you give, whatever you receive. Personally, for me, the Camino was a great opportunity to take time to reflect on life, because I had just retired. And when you retire, then you know that you have lots of precious time in your hands.
And you retired you retired with 53 years old.
That's right. 52 years old I retired, which is a true blessing.
It is, yeah.
Yes. And if you are going to retire and you want to use your time wisely, then you have to know how you want to use it. And a journey such as the Camino de Santiago de Compostela gives you that time if you want to reflect on it. Though it wasn't my purpose, it wasn't my goal to walk the Camino, as you well know. Where do we start? I think when it comes down to living life, if you want to make sure that you live life successfully, because that's the word you used a while ago, success. A successful life is basically being able to go within, to tap into the essence of who we are as individuals. And then you ask yourself, what is it that I really want to experience in this lifetime? that demands something that's called PMC. PMC stands for peace. First of all, you have to go inwards, and as you tap into that essence of you, the individuality that is within you, what is at the source of you, all of a sudden you'll feel a great amount of peace. And when you have this peace, then you have one of the true important pillars for your own self. Because a happy individual will have to be a balanced individual. A happy individual has to be a person that lives in harmony. So if I'm looking at the second element, which is the M, M means mindfulness. Because once you find peace, all of a sudden you can become present. Individuals who are present now feel life. And that's what life is meant to be. It's meant to be felt. And a lot of us spend a lot of time thinking. A lot of us spend a lot of time making things, repairing things, saving up to buy things. But life is meant to be felt entirely. Because once you become mindful, then you go into that see phase. And that's the connecting phase. That connection is so incredibly important because that's when you know and you can feel the interconnectedness between individuals, with animals, with the plants, with the nature, with the climate, with everything basically. And that, for me, is the path that leads to a successful life.
So now, the most of the people I know and who come out to the seminars are not really peaceful, don't feel really mindful, and not feel really connected. So I think that's one of the major problems. Now, may somebody say, okay, when I will retire, I will feel the same. So, did you feel the same while you were working?
Actually, you have to understand that the process doesn't start when you're retired. The process starts when you personally realize that you have to bring changes in your life. And you know what? Sometimes I hear people say, like, I'm not happy. And I will listen to the people, and I want to know why they're not happy. Though I will not offer them solutions. I will offer them questions. And one of the simple questions is, what are you doing to change your life if you're not happy? You know, what are you doing to put yourself on the path that will allow you to reach happiness? And the second question I'd love to ask them is, all right, well, if you want to be happy, what's going to make you happy? Like, what's your purpose in life? It's amazing about it, how so many people don't know what their purpose is. And if you don't have a purpose, if you don't have a goal, if you don't have a dream, then what are you in fact living? You're living what your family has said that you should be living, the community, the media, obviously the entertainment industry is telling you how to live, the commercial aspect of society is telling you how to live. This is what you need. But that's unfortunate because now you're not living, what is within you. You are in fact living what you're being told. And if you want to be in a good state of mind, if you want to be able to make those right decisions for what is right for you, then you have to be able to resonate with what's at the essence of your being. And at the essence of your being, that's your calling. There's where you need to go and find what I need to do. And you can't reach that until you get into a peaceful state. Peaceful state can easily be reached by meditation, yoga, reading, conversations with individuals that are grounded. They have their life balanced. They're living a harmonious life. Individuals who are giving but also know how to receive. Because the people that we come in contact with have so much to offer us. And that's what I like about my lifestyle, is I come in contact with so many people and I'm constantly receiving from them, but I'm also giving back. And that's what life is all about. It's giving and receiving, giving and receiving. If you're only a taker, at one point, people are going to stop giving. If you're only a receiver, if you're always giving, then you're going to burn out. You're going to, you need to replenish yourself. So that's why when I do some kind of action to someone, like I'm happy to do this for them. And when you do something kind for me, I'm very happy as well to receive that. Because that's what life is all about. It's all about giving and receiving.
And the balance between. So I want to go right there where you said, what is your goal? And when I met you the first time, you told me, my goal, while I'm here on the St. James Way, to bond with people, to get in connection with people. And first, so I was in such an emotional mess, I didn't really believe. I thought, no, this guy maybe has also some problems. Why should he walk 800 kilometers? But his answer was, no, I want to get in contact with people. And that's about 10 years ago.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
And when we met here in Koh Samui, like some days ago, and we made an appointment. Okay, we come to your hostel. Amagi stays always in hostels, in youth hostels where the young people are, like you, a little younger, but maybe
a little bit younger.
Yeah. So when we came to the hostel, and I told Christina before, he came and he said, "Hey, Walter, we heard," and then he began to introduce us to the whole hostel because he had made contact in one day with all the people who were staying there. And I think this is a gift. It's a gift to have first a goal, and your goal is just to connect with people and to live it every day. And I think this goal, maybe you can tell us about why do you want to connect with the people all the time? Why are you such a connective person?
It's interesting that you should ask that question because earlier this morning I was having a conversation with someone who basically made a comment saying, "Oh, Amagi, it is amazing how when you arrived, right away you came in, asked us what our names were, and you connected with us. And then the first thing I knew, you were off to talk to other people and connecting with them. And then you went to see other people. And later on in that evening, you brought everybody back together. You said, "Oh, Walter, have you met Christina? Oh, Christina, meet Walter." I said to him, the reason why you wanted to do this is because we are all interconnected. We all have something to give and we all have something to receive. The joy of, one of the elements of the joy of living is community. Because through community, there's an exchange that happens at the level of the thoughts. People sharing ideas. People sharing experiences. People sharing things that they've known or things that they're learning about. They're also sharing about emotions. Like this morning as well, one of the individuals at the hospital was basically sharing from an emotional point of view. Then other people talk about experiences that are almost spiritual-like. When there's that exchange, there's a bond that's created. Because if I open up to you, that means I trust you, I'm open to you. Therefore, there's an exchange. If you are non-judgmental and you accept and you open up to me, there's a bond that is created. And that's what life is all about. It's connecting. Because when you connect, everything becomes vibrant. Everything becomes so incredibly meaningful. If you want to be happy, things have to be meaningful. They don't necessarily always have to be funny. They don't always have to be in a state where you're feeling joy. Happiness, no. Feeling happy is feeling love, feeling connected, feeling like you're part of something. So in hostels, for example, I love young people because young people are generally very open. And it's easy as well to feel individuals because when they're open, you feel, okay, I like this energy or I don't care for this energy. If you don't care for an energy, you say, okay, I will not associate with this person because we're not on that same frequency, and that's okay. Not everyone is on the same frequency. But when you connect with people that are on that same frequency, then you know that you're going to gain and they're going to gain because of that constant exchange.
So you don't connect necessarily with everybody. You give what you told me the last day. you offer the possibility of connection to everyone you meet.
Yes.
And if it's not responded, you give it a second try.
Give it a second try, yes.
But you don't bother them, you don't just bring them into contact if they don't want.
Well, it's interesting because yesterday we managed to bring everyone into one group. So there was about 12 of us sitting at one table sharing food and drinks. And there was one individual that wanted to remain aside. And I said, "Oh, would you like to join us?" And he said, "No, I want to do my thing." And I respect that. Not everyone wants to socialize. And there might be reasons as well why that person does not want to socialize. And you have people who are introverts, and you got people that are extroverts. Obviously, I fall into the extrovert category.
I think so, yeah.
But this is all a question of respect as well. You take it as it comes, basically.
Okay. Tell us about your life. You're a frequent traveler, and not with maybe a gold card or platinum card. It's a frequent traveler in the sense of traveling the whole year. You don't have an apartment at home. You don't have the road is your home. Can you say that? Or
Actually, I met Barbara one day who said, "Amagi, I seldom met people that no matter where they are, they make it their home." So it's true that I no longer have a flat. I gave up on my flat 10 years ago. And when I go back to Canada, and usually in the summertime, I will sublet the flat for 2 or 3 months. Or sometimes I will simply stay with my sister, for example, with whom I get along extremely well. And you have to adapt, actually, to the fact that you're on the move. Now, for someone who is sedentary, someone who likes to be in one place, obviously my lifestyle, they can't understand. They would not be able to accept it because they would not feel comfortable for them. For me, who has more nomadic blood running through my veins, I need change. I need to be stimulated. I need to meet new people. I also love to meet good friends as well, and I make sure that there's a balance in my life. When I get tired of traveling, I stop and I settle somewhere. And as I was sharing with my very good friend in Switzerland, my lifestyle is going to go there more and more, where I'll stay in places now because I've had the pleasure of finding places that I really, really enjoy around the world. So what I want to do is I'm going to go, let's say, to Merida in the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico and settle there for 3 months. And then get my fill of being in that society. Get that sense that I'm completely quenched by what the Mexican society has to offer. But then the nomadic side always kicks in, and I know I'm going to move on to somewhere else. So I might end up in Morocco, because I love going to Morocco. So I'll go and spend 3 months, let's say, in the Reef Mountains, where I can go hiking, where I know a little bit of the topography and the cultures of the Berber. And then when I get quenched by that one, then I'll move to Eastern Europe. So it's a lifestyle that I find extremely stimulating. Actually, I have 2 friends that basically we meet at least once a year, who have the similar lifestyle. And both Beto and David are individuals with whom I have amazing exchanges with, because we can share what we like about places and what we dislike. We make recommendations. I know when I'm on Facebook and I'll post, I'm going to such and such a place. Do people have things to recommend? And sometimes people will say, "Oh no, don't stay there for more than a day or 2. It's not worth it." But if my friend Beto or David will write to me and they say, "Oh no, Amagi, stay there for a couple of weeks. Trust me." I trust that. And I know that we're on that same frequency. We're looking for the same things in life. Is it going to be easy to come in contact with people? Are we going to, am I going to be there and be constantly stimulated by the culture, stimulated by the values of the people, the communication skills, the activities that are going on, the religion Is it going to be easy to integrate myself in a community? When all of these things happen, then you know that it's going to be a good place. So those are some of the advantages of being or living a nomadic life, which is not available and not desirable for many people. But I count myself blessed to have this lifestyle.
And I would like to introduce Amagi to you because it's not maybe not your way of living, but it's such a good inspiration to find your way of living. And I think this is the goal everybody should set for himself. How do I want to live? And a lot of people I meet think they can't live the lifestyle I live or you live. And my lifestyle may be completely different from your lifestyle, but we have one in common: we want to be happy. And I would not accept a lifestyle that makes me unhappy. And I wouldn't live it because I'm afraid to change. So I think that's what you mentioned in the first part. You said, okay, there are three things: that's peace, inner peace, mindfulness, and connectivity, not to cut off the connection. I think that's the main problem. If we have problems, we are just separating ourselves from the rest, and we think in separation, this is the problem, and I'm here, and he's bad, I'm good, all these separations, and to get in contact again. So what would you say to somebody who says, okay, he lives it, how can I find my way if I don't know how I could live my life? What would you recommend to somebody, maybe also to young people you meet frequently, you know? What would you tell them if they say, Amagi, I have this job, I'm studying, I will do this job and I will do it till 65. How can I get happy in this?
Well, that's an excellent question, and it's an issue that a lot of young people actually struggle with. I think the most important and essential element is before you start studying, you have to make sure that you are on the path that you have chosen, the path that resonates with you. So you're not going to school because your parents want you to, the community wants you to. Like you know exactly what path that you want to follow.
Or your fears want you to go because I will do this because I will earn enough money to, and all these things. Huh?
Absolutely. Very, very important. So once you've identified the path, then there's possibilities that this path does not jive with other people in society. So therefore it might be marginal. You might become marginal. We live a marginal lifestyle. But because of our age, it's easier for us to live the way that we want to live. So young people need to basically, first of all, find out what they want. There has to be a goal, there has to be a purpose, there has to be an aspiration. Then secondly, they need to develop the inner power to follow that path. Because once you're saying, okay, I'm going to become an artist, then you have to accept that even though media is going to be bombarding you with information saying that you need this, you need. Well, you say, okay, society's telling me what I need, but what do I really need? Once you found what you want to achieve, then the path is set for you. You just follow that path. So, in my case, I became a teacher. I became a teacher because I was passionate about teaching. I love children. I love learning. I love teaching. I love interacting. And when you're passionate about something, then that path is really easy. I'm not working. I was happy to receive a salary. Obviously, we need money to live. But I'm not working for the money. I'm loving the work that I'm doing. So that's what young people basically have to decide. Am I loving? And if they're not loving it, then they have to cut. They actually have to cut and say, okay, I'm starting over. I'm not on the right path. If you're driving your car and you're going to point A and you should be heading north and you're heading west, well, if you're on the wrong road, what do? Well, you stop and you backtrack or you cut across, but you change directions. And that's what young people have to do as well. But it can happen at any age. Because I remember a really good friend of mine who was in a career. And after being a teacher for 10 years, she said, Amagi, like I'm not happy there. You know, like this is not what I want to do anymore. But I'm having so much pressure from my colleagues, the principal, the parents, the students, everyone's telling me, no, stay. And I said to her, I said, you know what? Don't stay on that path. Because your inner being is telling you this is not the right path for you anymore. It was at one time, you followed it, but now this is not your path. Therefore, you have to cut. Because if you continue on this path, you have to ask yourself the question, why am I continuing? Are you continuing because it's the best thing for you? Or are you continuing because you want to please all these other people and you want them to love you? I said, that's not how life should be. You have to put yourself in a situation where you say, okay, this is going to be hard. There will be consequences for my action. Like, I'm quitting. Now I have to take a different path or deal with the consequences. Because in the end, it's always worth it.
I had the experience that life is not only like a path like this, like really straight. In my life, wasn't. So I was in school. Then I was a surf teacher, and in the surf teacher, something showed up, like the clothing. So I opened a shop, and after like a lot of time selling clothes, suddenly comes this coaching thing, and I feel, okay, I have to change direction again. So, but the first path was not bad. It was just a part of life. I think what I felt in my life, you have to be aware when it's time to cut, and don't think bad about your past, because it was a part of what brought you here. So 20 years ago, I couldn't be like the lifestyle what I do now. I was in Fuerteventura and I was selling clothes. So I changed in the moment when I woke up and I felt, oh, why do you do this? And where's the purpose of it? And I felt, okay, now it's time to change. I think that's very important for young people, I think, to know that life can be like this. And it's not bad.
Exactly.
It's not like, because I had this, when we were on the St. James Way, there was this 18-year-old girl, and she was very spiritual, and she said, okay, Walter, could you tell me, I will try to find the right path, and I want to find the right partner for this path. And I never had a real boyfriend, but I'm 18 years or 20 years, and I want now my boyfriend. What can I do to find the boyfriend? And I just told her, what about a one-night stand? So she was shocked. She said, because if you try to walk this path, like the spiritual path, like the same perfect way, you try to live your life at home or at the office, it won't work. You have to live life and then feel what it feels like. What you said at the beginning, no? What do you think about
I love this. Because that's what it really boils down to. You know, there's a mythologist. There was a mythologist because he's passed away. Joseph Campbell, who was asked the question, and I just loved it. It was brilliant, his answer. When asked, what's the purpose in life? And he responded, and he studied all cultures from around the world. And he responded with, there is no purpose. Each individual is responsible to create his purpose. So it's like art. There's no good art or bad art. You know, when you consider people like Van Gogh, when he was living in a period when it was the Impressionist art, and then he begins with Expressionism. And obviously, his art not beautiful because it's not Impressionist. He was so incredibly different. But in this madness, he created masterpieces that are only recognized only decades later. And it's the same thing with life. There is no right answer. There's no right way. But if we live in societies that that determine the mores, they determine the values, they determine the path that we should follow. But it's because we're in that society. But it doesn't necessarily mean that it's the right path. It's a path. Like, I admire societies. When I go to countries and I see that a whole group of people have a common belief system, it makes for a very strong society, and I admire that. But it doesn't necessarily mean that that's the path. It's the path that they've chosen. It works for them. I say, all the power to you. That is fabulous. If you're part of that society and you don't fit in, then you have a problem. Because if you stay within the society, you have to hide in the closet. And if you have the inner power, then you leave the society in order to follow your path. Like, I really feel for individuals that have, and we discussed this the other day, that have deviance and sexual tendencies. All right, so we're heterosexuals, but we accept people that have different values and different tastes in sexuality. But if you have to hide yourself, then you're harming yourself because you're not living life the way you should. You know, you should express yourself. You should rejoice to be alive. And that's what I see as most important is us as individuals, like, we need to be true. True to ourselves, and then we can be true to others. Because if you're not true to yourself, then you're living a life as a fake. And if you're faking a life, then you're only going to be faking joy. And that's not how joy comes. Joy has to be felt. It has to be intense. It has to completely take you over. Because if you can manage to bring yourself into a state on a daily basis where you feel fully alive, that is success to me. Because this is the path that will lead you to happiness. Because happiness is not, I'm happy today. You know, I read something recently about someone who studied what joy was. And joy is something that it's short term. You give me this coconut water, oh, it brings me joy. However, that feeling will soon dissipate. Like, do I need more joy? Well, actually, if you focus on the beautiful environment that we're in, there's so much joy to hear the water just sprinkling over here, to hear the birds in the background, to hear the little bit of wind going through the leaves. All of this is joy. There is joy all around us. There's so much that is out there that will be able to stimulate us, that it's possible for us to be happy all the time. And I'm not saying that we're not going to experience sadness, and that experience sadness actually is good as well. Let's face it. You know, through sadness, and recently I've had to go through some really sad months. But at the same time, going through those hard times, as you well know, makes you appreciate much more the good times. Like being here with you, for example, is really a good time.
Yeah, and going through is the word we use, not hiding from your sadness, from your fear, but going through it and not holding on to it, but like really, what we say, feeling through it. And sometimes it takes time, but the road is always the same. To be peaceful with yourself, to be connected, and to be mindful. And I think this is a really nice thing I like to pick up here, because it shows a path where you can be happy, and it is not trying to get it from outside, what we already mentioned in this podcast, and it's in you, and you can have a lot of things outside of you, but they won't make you happy if there's this black hole in you, and you're trying to fill it with all these things you trying to get. So I think this is a really, really nice way to live. And at the end, I would like to tell the people that you published, you have a book, and you are publishing like little parts.
Well, actually, you wrote, no? Actually, they're not books because they haven't really been published. They're under WordPress. So WordPress is books on the internet. The first one is called delightfully slow. It's all one word. So delightfully slow is about mindfulness and the benefits of being mindful on our perception of time. So if you have listeners who are concerned that time is going by too fast, well, there's a way of slowing things down. Because even though it may seem counterintuitive, time can be experienced in many different ways. And even though you're having a good time, you can still have a good time and time going by slowly. It's often when we're having a good time, we say, oh my goodness, time just flew. Well, we have to learn how to make things happen slowly. That would be 64 articles on that concept. And the second one is much lighter. It's called 8 Lines on the Joy of Living. So if you type in, for example, 8 lines on the Joy of Living, Amagi, then you would, on Google, then you would have access to Delightfully Slow, because the two of them are together. And this is a collection of beautiful little articles, only 8 lines long. There's a collection of 32 of them, and they basically focus on joy, experiencing joy, and the recipes. There's different recipes for experiencing happiness and joy. Certain recipes that can be used to incorporate into daily living so that people can be happy.
So we will put down in the show notes, we put the link where they can reach these 8 lines, a lot of 8-liner, and get some of your ideas how life can be lived, and maybe they inspire you to find your way to live life, and that's all this podcast is about. I don't think I know how everybody or somebody should live. I just know that I would like to inspire him to find something what he likes and find something what makes him happy and successfully happy, and it's successful being happy. So also what you mentioned in the beginning, the way is to slow down, the way is now and inwards, not outwards. So Amagi, it was a pleasure to talk to you.
Well, you know what, the pleasure was indeed mine, because personally I admire what you are doing, you and Christina are doing, because you're offering of yourself, of your time, of your reflections on life, and sharing it with people. And that's the beauty, that's what life is all about. It's all about sharing. Because in sharing, that's the perfect way of showing that we love people, that we love each other. And I can understand that through all your sharing, you've made an incredible amount of beautiful, beautiful friendships. Because people who have something meaningful, beautiful, and life-changing to offer are always inspirations. So you are indeed a very good individual, my friend.
So you are. Okay, so I hope you followed us until here, so you know English very well. So click the link and have a look what Amagi does. And he's, from here you're traveling where?
Towards the horizon.
He stays here until
the spirit moves me, yes.
Okay, so thank you very much.
Pleasure.
And we met in Morocco, so we met on the St. James, so we met in Koh Samui, we will meet again.
All right.
Maybe in Berlin, you're invited?
That sounds wonderful.
Okay.
All right, cheers.
And if you like the show, give us a valoration, and that's all about, so more people hear about being successful, happy. Thank you.
Cheers.